Jay-Z is setting Diddy up.
You think I wasn't gonna get at you from the inside?
He has reached out to a witness, an alleged participant in multiple freak-offs.
Said that he alleges that Diddy strapped a to his face and made him parade around a party.
Then why Oprah staying quiet? Why Ellen moving to another country? Don't be shocked if no...
What if everything you thought you knew about Jay-Z and Diddy's friendship was a lie, as explosive courtroom testimony shakes the music world? Shocking new claims suggest the fallout isn't just about Diddy, but Jay-Z might be the one feeling the heat next. What exactly was said in court? And why has it sent waves of fear across celebrity circles? Stay tuned as we unravel the bombshell revelations that have left even the most powerful figures in panic mode.
Moving to another country. Don't be shocked if nobody show up to testify. Are you surprised to hear from me?
No. What's going on?
You think I wasn't gonna get at you from the inside? I think you know me a little better than that.
We can't be talking right now, Puff.
Nah. With all due respect, my brother, how is your wife doing? I heard she's spending a lot of time on the farm, and she loves talking to a pig. I told you when I went on this little road trip, I wasn't going to invite you, but I could change my mind. You understand?
Listen, everything all good. We just can't talk right now.
Now, how about I just talk and you listen? You told me the storm would just come and go if I lay down and stay quiet, but the weather seemed to be getting worse. You know, I could be catching a cold, so I need to make sure you send me some vitamin E and my special K cereal.
Relax. Some things fell through, but everything will be back up soon. Just keep calling your family. You'll be with them soon.
Oh, I'm doing the same thing for Thanksgiving. Make sure you send it straight to the Shade Room and TMZ. Make me look like a good father, and all I need is one juror to be on my side, and this case is over. Make sure them Amazon deliveries get back on schedule, then there won't be no need for us to talk.
The entertainment world was hit with a shockwave as Diddy's courtroom revelations exploded across headlines, a case that many thought might quietly play out in legal circles. Instead ignited a storm that rippled through the celebrity elite, leaving even the most untouchable. Figures on edge, the trial itself, already heavy with anticipation, became the center of intense scrutiny after a bombshell testimony unearthed connections and accusations that no one saw coming, according to inner-city press details emerging from. The court shattered any hopes for discretion, dragging names and associations into the open that many thought were buried for good. Inside the courtroom, the air was thick with tension, almost suffocating in its weight. Witnesses shifted uncomfortably, under the relentless gaze of attorneys, while Diddy himself sat at the defense table, his usually cool composure faltering under the intensity of the moment. At times he would glance toward the gallery, his expression unreadable but his posture betrayed. Him stiff, locked in place as if bracing for impact. Each shocking statement cracked the facade. Attendees, including unsuspecting industry insiders and media representatives, exchanged hushed glances, their unease growing with each new revelation. Whispers rippled through the rows as the gallery seemed to collectively realize this wasn't just about Diddy anymore. The most unsettling details came down to whispers of a much larger network at play, one that potentially implicated other major players in the music industry. This wasn't just about missteps or legal woos confined to a single man testimonies. Some vague others, alarmingly specific, suggested a system of connections and dealings that extended far beyond Diddy's immediate circle. As reported by inner-city press, one particular statement stood out, a witness casually dropping a high-profile name in passing, leaving the courtroom frozen for a moment. As the ripple effect took hold for the people in that room, it was no longer about what happened weeks ago or months ago, but what these revelations could mean for the future. Few dared to breathe as speculation began to build among the names murmured in the aftermath. Jay-Z's presence loomed large, though nothing conclusive tied him directly to the case. At this point, some testimony alluded to past interactions, raising questions about the extent of his involvement or knowledge of certain dealings. What really caught the public's attention was the dominoic unraveling. Of relationships and partnerships, Diddy's trial had made one thing painfully clear. No one operating in these circles was entirely untouchable. If one thread could come undone, there was no telling how far it could stretch for now. Speculation swirled around Jay-Z's ties, faint yet strong enough to spark unease, but this was only the beginning. Witness lists, press commentary, and public outrage were already amplifying the pressure. The sense that more revelations were on the way hung over Hollywood, and the music industry like an ominous storm cloud. And while so many unanswered questions remain, one becomes impossible to ignore. What about these explosive revelations has Jay-Z so concerned? Is it guilt by association or something far more incriminating?
What's your point?
Is that who it is? Man, I thought it was a different celebrity. I guess it might have been a different movie. You know, I got a lot of movies on my mind sometimes, and I get the actors confused. Some of these actors are so good, they act like they don't even know they're being recorded. Your wife did a few movies, didn't she? Wife did a few movies, didn't she?
Okay, that was a long time ago, Puff. What the fuck are you trying to say?
Oh, nothing. Just talking to an old friend. You know, I haven't talked to friends in a long time. It seemed like they forgot about me. Let's make sure they keep it that way. Let's make sure they keep it that way.
Man, what's the point of this? I told you everything straight.
Good. And make sure you keep the worm food away from my house while I'm gone. It gets messy. Too many insects start digging around. Remember when I cleaned up the worm food around your house? I kept a sample in case you needed. I kept a sample in case you needed.
Oh, really? Listen, don't push your limits, Puff. I ain't the one to play with. You in there, and I'm out here.
Oh, and don't have another Kit Kat. It's bad for you. She made me gain weight. And get 44 on board again. Make him pull some strings again, or else.
First of all, Puff, you need to watch your mouth. You know who you talking to? Second of all, this the that got you in this in the first place. You always think that you're bigger than what you really are. You need to stop trying to bite the hand that feeds you, and you wouldn't be in this position. And you don't got what you think you got. You don't got what you think you got.
Okay, you getting all fired up. I like that, Daddy. It's all love. But if I don't got what I think I got, then why Oprah staying quiet? Why Ellen moving to another country? Why Leo been in Fiji for months? When I get this bail though, this case going away. I don't need no phones. I don't need no internet. I'll send a letter on a fucking bird. You already...
About Diddy's trial could possibly tie back to Jay-Z. At first glance, these two music moguls might appear connected only by the occasional collaboration or shared industry influence. But as details from the trial unfolded, observers quickly realized their ties might run deeper than business as usual over the years. Jay-Z and Diddy have maintained overlapping social and professional circles, sharing connections with key figures in music nightlife, and even the corporate world they're intertwined. Success stories have long painted a picture of mutual respect, but now a shadow has been cast over those ties. Central to this cloud of suspicion are references made in the courtroom that seem to hint at questionable dealings among high-profile figures. Inner City Press reported that specific testimony pointed to partnerships and events where Diddy wasn't the only one with significant influence. While no direct accusations have been thrown at Jay-Z, yet legal analysts have noted how the seemingly innocent overlap between the two moguls is now drawing scrutiny. One particular instance raised eyebrows: discussions of lavish industry parties and gatherings that, according to witnesses, involve tightly controlled guest lists and a level of secrecy that in hindsight feels far from harmless. Jay-Z's attendance at some of these events is well documented, and while that alone proves nothing, the mention of those occasions in a courtroom setting has fueled public curiosity behind the scenes. Insiders suggest Jay-Z's team is paying close attention to the trial's developments publicly. He has remained silent, but reports indicate growing unease within his camp. The question isn't whether Jay-Z could be directly implicated, it's whether these connections, now under the microscope, could begin to paint him in an unflattering light. Even associations that once seemed inconsequential now feel like they carry potential consequences for individuals with empires as vast as Jay-Z's. The risk isn't just legal exposure, it's reputational damage that can lead to doors quietly closing within critical networks. What makes this more troubling is the broader implication of allegations presented in court. Legal experts have pointed out that while a trial focuses on specific charges, the testimony can inadvertently lay bare a culture or system that connects multiple individuals when figures like Jay-Z share a history with someone at the center of such a trial. It's easy for those connections to attract suspicion. The nature of celebrity magnifies this. Even circumstantial ties can spark a media frenzy, forcing those involved to respond to accusations that may not even exist yet. And yet, one revelation from the trial has stirred even more whispers about Jay-Z's role. A witness mentioned a particular business transaction, a deal brokered at the peak of both men's careers. No concrete wrongdoing was implied, yet the timing and circumstances made it notable enough for some to raise questions. Was it purely coincidental or part of a larger narrative that's only now coming into focus? This single mention, vague but deliberate, has left many wondering if more lies beneath the surface now as testimony continues. The question lingers: could these connections be little more than an unfortunate coincidence? Or are they threads in a much larger story yet to unravel while there's no definitive answer? Yet one thing is clear: Jay-Z's past could hold unexpected surprises for those looking too closely.
The acceptable monster at this time, like R. Kelly was the last time I sat on this couch. I want you to think about 106th and Park with Mary J. Blige. Free, who was a victim of Sean Carter.
Yeah.
Mary J. Blige, who was a victim of Sean Combs, are sitting there talking about the death of Aaliyah. I'm saying, Sean Carter, you're a piece of shit. Taking Pimp C wasn't bad enough. You just want to go down there and you want to just remove all of the balls from every real gangster in here. And she was trained at the esteemed Berkeley College of Music. Handpicked by my very good friend, Terry Lynn Carrington, Dr. Terry Lynn Carrington, who put together Beyonce's entire female band, which was Matthew Knowles' idea because he couldn't get Beyonce to stop people. Guess you didn't know your daughter well enough because she just started all the girls.
It's like, I heard some shit about he has clothes on or something. I don't know. Like, I don't really know if all this is true, but I just heard parts like, I'm like, what happened to my guy?
Right.
And then they come out with the official. It was a mixture of some stuff, the prescription and something else or something that I don't really know. But with me, I never really heard something that would give that closure for me.
Mm-hmm.
I never really heard anything tangible or true, like what happened to my guy.
Okay, when you hosted for Diddy.
Off for years. Jay-Z's rise to business and music dominance has been celebrated as one of the most iconic success stories in entertainment. But now, in the wake of Diddy's trial incidents and decisions from Jay-Z's past are being pulled back into the spotlight, framed in a way that raises uncomfortable questions. Public interest is no longer just focused on Diddy's trial, but on the kind of environment that allowed power players to thrive. Unchecked for decades, and Jay-Z's history, one that was largely seen as inspiring, is now being scrutinized under this harsher lens. One of the incidents now being revisited is Jay-Z's involvement with Rockefeller Records and its early days in the music industry. Rockefeller played a major role in shaping hip-hop, but it also operated in the high-stakes, high-pressure world of late-night deals and exclusivity during this time. Jay-Z partnered with figures who would later face legal troubles, while his name was never tied to malpractice. At the time, critics are now questioning how close he may have been to some of the questionable actions allegedly taking place around him. These questions don't align with direct accusations, but reflect a renewed interest in examining the bigger picture, how these moguls built their empires with the same circles of influence. Adding fuel to this scrutiny is the now infamous stabbing incident involving Jay-Z and music executive Lance and Riva back in 1999. At the time, Jay-Z took responsibility, pleaded guilty to a misdemeanor assault charge, and publicly moved on, framing it as an isolated incident in a turbulent industry. Now, however, that moment feels less like an outlier and more like a glimpse into an industry that kept its darkest actions behind the scenes. Some are asking whether this wasn't just a personal altercation, but reflective of a climate where aggression was an unwritten rule among power players as more courtroom testimony. Highlights secretive deals and exclusivity.
He says that in this party, Jay-Z, Beyonce, LeBron, and Gloria Estefan saw him in rare form because of this.
Say that they have you on tape denying that Jay-Z assaulted you. Is that true?
No. I don't. I've never said that.
They also say that you told them, and they have it on tape, that I, Tony Busby, told you to came up with this plan and told you to say that Jay-Z assaulted you so you would get more money.
No.
Combs allegedly planned and controlled the sex performances, which he called freak-offs, and he often electronically recorded them. The freak-offs sometimes lasted days at a time.
Typically, the victim is lured into a situation where he or she is given a drink. Typically, that drink, reported by these victims, is apparently laced with something. Once that drink takes effect, the perpetrators perform all kinds of sexual acts on the victims.
This guy from neighborhood similar to where I grown up that made it to these